It is the year 2020. Today's spotlight focuses on Decepticon Slugslinger and his Targetmaster partner Caliburst. Did you know that Wild Bill Hickok got into a gunfight duel with a man named Davis Tutt over a gambling dispute? At 75 yards away, Wild Bill Hickok shot the man through the heart, and Tutt called out with his last words, "Boys, I'm killed," before he collapsed and died. Later on, Wild Bill Hickok would be shot in the back at a bar while gambling by a man named Jack McCall, who was a drunken gambler who had been insulted the night before. Transformers is all about giant space dinosaurs and Volkswagen Beetles and semi-trucks, so it has nothing to do with gunslinging. Or does it? Today we'll be looking at Slugslinger, one of the Target Masters, and boy do I love saying his name, Slugslinger. Slugslinger. I guess I like the name Slugslinger a lot. Slugfest. Well, that's kind of a different guy. Anywho, Slugslinger. You're gonna sit in that chair. Now you know, Moneypenny, my money's on Slugslinger. Good morning. Slugslinger was one of the three Decepticon Target Masters who was known for having a personality that was quite a coward, a very boastful character at first, but as soon as he ran out of bullets, he would flee and hide. He was a big braggart who went along with a little partner named Caliburst, but he was only as brave as the bullets in his gun. His bio depicts him as being a character who would shoot others in the back if he had a chance to do so. So, boastful and a coward, I think this is one of the best characters in the series. I think he was the standout guy amongst the three Decepticon Target Masters. But his figure is really inspiring. I really like the blue that they used on this figure. This is from the same era as the Titans Return figures. Now I chose the Takara Legends version of this just because I like the sky blue a bit better. His jet plane alternate mode sported a double cockpit and no landing gear. And you can see the little robot man underneath the plane. The back of the figure has a little port so that you can plug it into plastic display scans for dynamic posing. And despite having a double cockpit, you put a little Titan Master in a third cockpit right behind the two visible ones. I think it's because they couldn't fit the little guy in there. The little pilot in the cockpit is known as Caliburst, although the Takara version is just Slugslinger. Caliburst is actually the name of the Target Master he comes with. And his backstory is that he's a kind of a Nebulon actor, so he's known to play roles and be a fake himself, which is just perfect for a partner like Slugslinger. Caliburst's claim to fame is that he never misses a shot, so he makes himself a very valuable asset to the Decepticon cause. I never really liked their depictions on the show in Season 4 of the Transformers. Their voices just seemed off. Slugslinger's voice, for example, sounded too deep for a coward like him.
I think the name Aimless suits you better. Hey, you can call me Caliburst, because I never missed a shot in my life.
But you've never taken a shot in your life.
See when I lie to you?
Transforming him is a very simple maneuver. You just kind of flip the legs around and stick them on the little ports where you can. They don't really stick into place though, which I find frustrating. One of the things that I debated about this figure was whether to keep this little Caliburst or to replace him with the one from the Siege toy line. Ultimately, I found the Siege toy line to be a more well-constructed, put-together figure. This one, you just have to use a lot of imagination to get it to work. And they don't quite stick closely together. These legs look just like little robot legs. Although when you put it on Slugslinger, it does look really good. That silver really makes it shine. And I like the overall color scheme combination. So, it's not that bad. By the way, the whole concept of a double cockpit is very confusing and amusing to me. What would you ever need two cockpits for? Just in case you don't want to sit next to the other pilot? And what purpose would it serve, really? I mean, the other guy might get annoyed with you, and it's not like they're going to drive away. You're both controlling the same ship. I guess it's just so you don't smell each other's odors. I mean, that's the only reason I could think to have a double cockpit. This figure is also completely compatible with the Siege Caliburst figure, which is nice, although the colors don't match up at all anymore. That black and purple is nice as a standalone figure, but on the figure of Slugslinger, it just does not look the best. Although it is nice that you can use both of them, and you can put in the Siege Blast effects onto the Siege Caliburst. But this is where I kind of draw the line. You see, the blowpipe from the original Takara figure will not be able to use the blast effects as it has no place to plug into. Oh well. I think that they made this guy into a Titan Master Headmaster is because the original Slugslinger had a spring-loaded neck head mechanism so that the head was concealed inside and would swing upwards when prompted. So I think this is why they thought that they could use a whole Titan Master gimmick with this character. Now, the little pilot that comes with them is just Slugslinger himself as a miniaturized version. You can see the colors just match up the same as Slugslingers. And they did a pretty good job with the face sculpt and the sculpting of these figures as compared to the Hasbro version, which featured a lot less paint. Just look here compared to the Trigger Happy. They look very similar to each other, but they boast a lot more paint than the Hasbro release. I really like that a lot. They're just really nice to look at and to hold and to flip over. Look at the face sculpts. I really do like the Slugslinger face. It's got this sort of Starscream sort of smirk, and I think it really suits the character very well. Very nice. The three Decepticon Targetmasters from this line feature the same kind of engineering shared between the three of them. So you're getting kind of the same figure, but Hasbro has featured so many little differences that they do feel like different figures. And the way that this figure feels really nice in hand. It's got the right amount of weight to it. I'm going to compare it to Trigger Happy, also from the Takara line. And you can see that the engineering is pretty much the same here. There's a little bit more complexity to the Trigger Happy version, but I'm pleased with what they did with Slugslinger anyhow. But yes, they do sport pretty much the same legs and a similar body design, and most of the back and the leg area is identical with just a few features. You spin me right round, baby, right round. Transformation is basically a simple process, but you have to start back here and sort of wiggle out and untab the arms from the legs. And you have to be really careful with these wings because you have to kind of wiggle the wings at the same time that you are untabbing the arms. So you don't want to snap off these little tabs, and I think that this figure might be prone to doing so. So you just want to be very gentle, lift the wings up, and then get the arms out of there. That'll give you some clearance. And then what you want to do is take the legs and do not scrape up the wings as you're pulling these outside. So you're just going to have the slightest smidgen of room to get those out of there. And then you're free to go. I am pretty much taken by the fact that Slugslinger is pretty much the jerk of the group amongst the three Decepticon Target Masters. I mean, they're all kind of jerks, but compared to Trigger Happy, who laughs all the time, and Misfire, who can't hit the broadside of a barn, Slugslinger is sort of the untouted leader of the group, and his swagger is something that I think adds a lot of charm to this character and his personality. The figure is nearly perfect. I think the only thing that could have benefited this figure would have been an ankle tilt, but it gets along just fine without it. And like I said, it feels nice, the plastic is sturdy, it really feels nice in your hand. The transformation is wonderful, not overly complicated as with a lot of the deluxe figures. The design almost evokes a sort of Gradius type imagery from the arcade game where you have the little Vic Viper dude with his dual cockpit. Like a Cobra. That's what it looks like. Now, when you move aside the cockpit area, you're going to be very careful to do it in these steps. You're going to swing the cockpit noses down, so it's kind of pointing forward, kind of giving you a bird-shaped object here. And then you're going to be able to swing that whole assembly down back onto the back. That's haunting, isn't it? Well, that'll give you some nightmares. Sort of like a mini Skylynx, but in blue. Anyway, you'll know that you're on the right track once you get out the little wings to form a sort of Dracula cape, and you've plugged in the arms in the right place. Once you've got those arms assembled, then it'll be a really easy cinch to get the cockpits back down to form a little backpack. Sort of looks like a little pair of gas containers or a scuba gear setup. And then you'll be ready to plug the Headmaster Titanmaster guy right in. Those golden breast thingies do look pretty good, don't they? I think they really going with the whole bullet gimmick when they came up with this line. It doesn't really plug in anywhere, you just kind of have to snuggle it in there. You could almost get away with a sort of Macross Robotech girl walker with this guy. Oh, the possibilities. I wholeheartedly reject the notion that the little Titan Masters are the real robot with the larger body being the Transtector or whatever. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. But I also don't like the United States version of the story where these are all little Nebulon partners who are little green space aliens. Please leave little tiny aliens out of Transformers. They have no place in this fiction. Getting the head in there can be a little tough the first time, but once you line it up, it'll fit securely. At least on my figure, I don't have any issues with looseness. Yes, this figure is quite nice, isn't it? Okay, so once you've got that set up, you've managed to get into a proper pose, you are able to get the Caliburst figure, either one, the one from the Takar Legends version, or the one from Siege to plug into its hand. Here we go. Come on, little Caliburst. Get your little thespian booty in there. Yes, I do like that quite a bit. Going around shooting people. Such a dastardly little guy. Here's a comparison between Slugslinger and Highbrow, the Autobot Headmaster. You could go mad with power, double-wielding 2 Calibursts. Now who's going to stop you? Nobody, that's who. And you can fire out the little Caliburst Siege blast effect and finally reenact all of your worst dreams and shoot guys in the back. Bang, bang, shoot, shoot. Delicious Decepticon purple. Where you going, Highbrow? You owe me some money. Kaboom. Oh, the possibilities are endless. You could even trick out Slugslinger with a matching blue blowpipe, and it's compatible with all of the little Siege blast effects, and some guns from Spinister. Or you could make your own mini Skylynx in blue. Or you could give him too much power. Too much power. Or you could make the ultimate Targetmaster. Look, 2 Calibursts. 3 Calibursts? Oh wait, and a blowpipe. Oh my goodness. So would I recommend this figure? You bet I would. This is such a delight, and he makes a really good set if you get the other 2. I strongly recommend picking up Slugslinger and add it to your collection. If you can still find one, they will go about $40 on eBay. So good luck to you, and have a good day.
Slugslinger's passion for shooting Autobots and Decepticons in the back earned him the nickname of Butthole.